Hello and welcome to Full Potential Living Daily. This daily video is here to provide inspiration, motivation, and wisdom to help you be at your best every day, to crush it, to crush your day, and make your biggest dreams become reality. I aim to help you step into power, purpose, and full potential every day, because you have to do that. If you want to live your full potential life, you have to make your high performance habits, you have to make that a daily practice. It's who you are, is to step into that every day. Summon and be your best today. Happy Friday. What's going on? How are you guys today? What is happening? What is up? I've got something today for you guys to tune in. And let me ask you this. What if the reason your conflicts, whether they're personal or professional, with your team, with people that you lead in some capacity, even your friends, right? Or whether it is more personal, more family, more friendship, what if the reason your conflicts aren't being resolved, could be business partners too, is because you're trying to be right instead of learning to be present, influential, and persuasive? And I want you to hang on to that last word there and start to think about it and brainstorm about persuasion. 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 Yes, a lot of you out there, I know a lot of people that think persuasion is a bad thing. They immediately go, man, persuasion is bad. Persuasion is bad. I don't want to be persuaded. And I understand it can be used in a negative way. I totally get it. There's times and places where somebody's trying to persuade you to do something that's not right for you, and it doesn't align with you and it feels wrong. I get it. There's also times you've been persuaded and it's improved your life, haven't you? Well, I'm going to tell you, first of all, throughout this whole video, I'm going to give you a strategy to become a better leader, a research-backed strategy, backed by 20 years of research, because I'm a high-performance coach and I coach executives and entrepreneurs, high performers, to reach their potential, sustainable success in business without sacrificing your health, your well-being, and your relationships. All right? Pretty much living your full potential life. So this strategy that I'm using, I help with executives, I've helped with people in major business situations overcome, adapt, achieve, and make it peaceful as well. So I'm going to give you a strategy. So listen throughout this whole video, because there's a 3-part strategy that helps you today in a conflict you might have with a personal relationship and conflict you might have with your team, with somebody that you lead. I'm going to help you today have a 3-part strategy to help you be more persuasive and influential. But first, let's back up. Let's back up, because some of you out there still are having a negative mindset. Some of you out there, excuse me, some of you out there have a negative mindset still on persuasion. Others of you are like, you know what? I just want to get to the next level. I want to break through. Give me some tools. Let's go. I'm ready. But first of all, let me tell you, to set up the conversation, what would happen if we didn't have persuasion? What would happen? All right. I thought about this, kind of looked it up, kind of did a little research, and really thought, like, what would really happen if we didn't have persuasion? So I've got 5 things of like that might blow your mind a little bit. It might at least jog you a little bit to think about, like, what if we didn't have persuasion or influence? Like, a world without persuasion would mean, number 1, like, no leadership or influence. Some of you out there who are both ambitious, but you're kind and you don't want to control people and you're like, I don't like persuasion, I don't like influence. Well, let me tell you about something. If we didn't have persuasion, you would have no leadership. You would have no positive influence. Think about this. Leaders wouldn't be able to rally around a mission, a vision, or a movement that changes society. Leaders wouldn't be able to do that, right? Nobody would step up. They'd be afraid that they were going to hurt somebody because they have a strong opinion. Now, think about people like Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela. I think of John F. Kennedy, or even business leaders like Steve Jobs. They didn't force people. They inspired them. It's an art and a science, but it's an art. So if you didn't have persuasion, you have no vision casting. You have no movements in society. Imagine if we never had the civil rights movement. Mr. MLK had to be persuasive in his own opinion against other people's, right? We have to have that, right? Number 2, no sales, no marketing, no innovation for you business leaders out there. You'd have none of that if you didn't have persuasion. And a lot of you guys know that, but I want you to not have guilt when you're like helping people move forward with a product or service, something that's benefiting their life. Every business depends on persuasion, right? Without it, ideas wouldn't spread. Products wouldn't sell. Entrepreneurs would build things nobody understands or wants. No economic growth, flatlined. Number 3, broken communication in relationships. If you didn't have influence, if you didn't have persuasive people, persuasive skills, you'd have broken communication. You wouldn't be able to resolve a fight with your spouse. You wouldn't be able to encourage your child to believe in themselves, right? You have to have persuasion. Number 4, no art, no storytelling, no emotion. I got this shirt today. I'm going to wear it the rest of the day because it's Friday, y'all. My Friday shirt. I didn't want to wear it for this episode because I was like, this is kind of a serious topic. But check this out. This is my Friday shirt I'm wearing the rest of the day. I always put it on in the afternoon when I go chill after some coaching and seeing some peeps. But just no art like on that shirt. No storytelling, no emotion. Every movie, every song, every book, no matter what the leader is and what industry or place they come from, it's crafted to move you, to shift your inner world. No persuasion, no emotional resonance. A dull and robotic culture. There'd be no story. You tell stories. How powerful are stories? You have persuasion in there, right? Stagnation and social progress is number 5. We wouldn't have movements. Like I said, climate change. Let's fix our soil, everybody. Start becoming aware of our soil. I watched a documentary recently, and I'm excited to plant a tree. I'm excited to take care of our soil so we can take care of our health. How many of you out there agree, right? If we didn't push forward for a healthier soil, more organic food, less tilling, would we have a planet 50, 100 years from now? Regardless of that, regardless of the result, we have to have persuasion. We have to have influence. And have I convinced you yet, based off of things that really matter from the heart and the mind, have I convinced you yet how important persuasion is? So now that we got the negative thing out of the way, I want to give you guys a strategy so you can be a better leader. I want to give you guys a strategy that's going to help you be more persuasive, more present, more influential. But first, it all starts with you actually giving an F about what other people think, believe, feel. What's that called? Empathy. You have to start with empathy. When you enter a room, it's not, here I am. It's, there you are. You actually care about the team you're leading. You actually care about the team around you. You actually care about your spouse's feelings and story and perspective. You actually care, even though it's hard, you care about your brother and his perspective and where he comes from, or your sister, or your good friend. This is going to help you resolve conflicts in your personal and professional life today. But you have to start with empathy. You have to start there. And so there's a 3-part process here. You always have to start with empathy. Okay, let me see where this person is coming from. Let me understand them. Let me try to see, oh, their life, their story was different from mine. They came from a different perspective. Perspectus. Let me check that out. Let me try to understand first. Let me have that empathy. How do we do that? Listening. We have to listen deeply and actually listen to not only what they're saying, but what's behind the words. What emotions are behind the words? Where might this come from? You have to learn to listen better, deeper, more impactfully. All right? So you have to have empathy. You have to listen. And when you want to start to persuade, there's a 3-part process. So I just wanted to give you some kind of start and beginning stuff to it. I've personally had experience in very important family situations of persuasion. Very important. They were high stakes with family, with different things that have happened with my family. I've had high stakes situations in business as well, and life as well, like I talked about yesterday on the call. And I've talked, and there's other things that have happened. But from personal experience, I can say that this process really works. And it's also backed by 20 years of research. So let's get to it. The first process, the beginning of starting to persuade, is with some of those things that I'm talking about. But really what we're talking about is acknowledgement. That's right. The first step in the process is acknowledgement. You have to acknowledge where people are coming from. What did I talk about? Empathy and listening. You have to first acknowledge, right? You have to first, and salespeople out there, you already know a lot of this stuff, but try to go a little bit deeper, because you're thinking agree, empathize, rebuttal. And it's like, try to go a little bit deeper on the first part. Try to care a little bit more on that first part. If it's a quick situation, you're at a door, or it's a phone call, maybe a different time, different place. But if you're trying to, if it's a more important personal relationship, part of your team, or a higher stakes situation, or you have more time, go a little deeper on the acknowledgement. Go a little deeper on truly caring for that individual, like actually giving up in that situation. And others of you out there are leaders that are trying to lead your family better. You're trying to lead your spouse better. Or, you're trying to lead your son, your daughter, somebody better. First step is acknowledgement. And there's situations where you need to shower people with love, especially personal family. You need to shower people with love first. You really need to show your appreciation for them. There's other situations that are professional. You get to choose the situation you want to use this in, by the way. You choose one and make it happen after this video today, or this week, or very soon. Okay? The professional one, you want to appreciate the other person. So sometimes you need to shower your personal relationships with love. Hey, I love you. I love you so much. I appreciate you. Do you remember when we went through this? Do you remember? Right? Really showering them with love. Other times you're appreciating them first. If it's professional, hey, mean it genuinely, authentically. Hey, I really appreciate that you're doing X, Y, and Z. I really do. I can see that you work hard. You do this, you do that. Find something, 3 things. 3 things would be best. 3 things you appreciate about that person. I appreciate you do this. and genuinely mean it when you say it. All right? I appreciate you do this. I appreciate you do that. And I really appreciate you do this. Those three things. I really do. And then acknowledge their perspective. So we start with love. We start with appreciation. Okay? That's my own part that I put into the persuasion process, the persuasion formula that has worked. And that not just mine, something that a lot of people and leaders, high performers in any industry use. Appreciation and love. Start with that. Raise them up a few levels. Now the three-part process, acknowledgement. So you acknowledge them, you appreciate them, you acknowledge them. Hey, I understand where you're coming from. I totally understand. I understand your perspective. And so the foundation of persuasion rests on our ability to acknowledge others. We have to acknowledge them. You can't just skip over and just go right to getting your point across. If you want to be persuasive, you have to listen. You have to understand. You have to have empathy and go, okay, let me see where they're coming from. You have to acknowledge them. That's the bedrock. That's the bringing the people together. That's bringing the team, the family together, is the acknowledgement. The acknowledgement of the other person's perspectives. I like to say that word, perspective. Acknowledgement first. Acknowledgement plus second part, bam, ambition. So next, we must also stoke their ambition for a better future. As we do that, we gain greater persuasion by sharing explicitly how their actions can bring them great intrinsic reward, personal meaning, passion, enjoyment, and extrinsic reward, right? So we're bringing the ambition in. We're stoking there. We're lighting the fire for something better. Martin Luther King said, I have a dream, paraphrasing here, but that young black people and white people could sit down at the same table and eat at the same table. Do we see that? We're all doing that now. There's always things to continue to work on. But do you see how far we've come? That's cool. Let's keep working on it. Side note. Okay. Now, Steve Jobs said the iPhone, he inspired people with the iPhone. He stoked their ambition. He showed them, look what's possible. You have 1,000 songs in you have a camera in your pocket. Oh, you have your contacts in your pocket. What if you could combine the iPod and the phone and the cellular phone? And look where it is now. Look where we are now, people. Right? So he had to stoke the vision, the ambition for a greater future, not just for himself, but for the other person. Hey, look at where you could be. Look at what you could have. You're persuading somebody to change an unhealthy habit. You're persuading somebody to perform better in sales. You're persuading somebody to buy your service, buy your product. You have to have persuasion. You have to stoke their ambition. So acknowledgement 1, ambition 2, acknowledgement plus ambition times affect. So finally, we must overlay to all this communication a high dose of affect or emotion. You have to actually really care. You have to bring emotion into it. If it actually matters to you, you have to bring emotion in. Now, there's sometimes where you need to keep it cool and you need to act like it's no big deal in sales situations. There's other times where there's times without the conversation where you need to be passionate. Because let me tell you this fact. 93, Mehrabian's principle. I can never say that one right. Mehrabian's principle. Whatever. The fact is that 93% of how people perceive us how people understand us has to do with body language and tone. 93 people, only 7% is the words. So what people feel, what people understand is your energy, how you're showing up with your body language, with your tone, where you're coming from in those parts of your communication, right? So that means affect is overlaying acknowledgement and ambition. The affect, the emotion is overlaying those both. You have to have emotion, passion to be persuasive. You have to come with good energy. Acknowledgement, acknowledge the other person. Hey, I totally understand. Ambition. Wow, if we could do this together, if you could have that, imagine where you could be. Imagine what you could do with your life if you stopped that unhealthy habit, if you made more, if you performed better, if you had my service, if you had me as a leader of your company. Imagine. Acknowledgement, ambition, stoke their ambition, times affect. Now, that is the three-part process of how you can resolve conflict. You can persuade people in business. You can persuade people in your personal life. You can start a movement. You can impact your team in a positive way. You can lead society and lead your family. That's a three-part process, the Persuasion Formula. All right, guys, that's what I got for you guys today. Happy Friday. Crush your weekend. In the meantime, remember, do not settle. Full potential or nothing. Peace.